Even if a lot of people will be loving you, even if your future partner will give you the best that he could just to show love, but if you still have that mentality that I am unloved, it will never be enough. You'll always seek and seek for a lot of things only to find out that in the first place was already enough. But it is your mind telling you that it's not enough. I still feel unloved.
Fun day, everyone! Welcome to Singles Podcast by Singles Events Manila, hosted by your matchmaker and researcher, Vanessa A. Today, we are very lucky to have with us a psychologist, trainer, motivational speaker, and our favorite mental health partner who's going to share with us a few tips on how singles can make the most out of the home quarantine, and of course, share with us some of the best practice on how we can take care of our mental health. Let us all welcome Coach Matt Doming.
Hello, good morning to you, everyone. Good morning to the audience. Good morning to you, Vanessa. Thank you for having me here. It's really a pleasure to have me here in your show, and I hope I can really give a lot of wisdom and learning today that can really help singles improve and at least take care of their mental health, especially during this ECQ. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you also, Coach Matt, for joining us today. So before I throw some of the questions that we've gathered from some of our fellow single professionals, I'd like to ask you, Coach Matt, what are you grateful for today?
This is the thing that I always thank God every morning, every day, to always wake up beside my wife, beside my daughter. That's the very first thing that I thank God every morning. Thank you, Lord, for waking up together with my family, together with my wife, with me, and my little daughter. And of course, ngayon siguro is this one. I thank God for this opportunity to share whatever important wisdom that I can share today in your podcast, especially to singles.
Good to hear from you, Coach Matt. So, Coach Matt, we know that you're the CEO of MPsych, who offers services to companies for their for those who needs like mental health services for their employees.
Yes.
Right. And we also know that people have followed you on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook for your mental health tips.
Yes.
So one of the questions that we have today is that what tips or best practices can you specifically give singles who are at home? A lot of them are alone. What are the tips also that you could share? How can they maximize, be happy and excited despite all negative things that are happening in our society right now?
For me, Vanessa, I've also been a single for most of my life. At the age of 26, that's the time that I married my wife and had a kid. What I realized these days is that most of the things that really strengthened me in my relationship with my wife and taking care of my kids, what the values that I apply today in order to establish a great relationship. I can say that my relationship is satisfying. And the things that I use today are the things that I learned when I was still single. Being single is both a blessing or a burden, depending on how you look at it and depending on the situation. When I was single, I think that was a blessing for me because, first of all, my family was very supportive. I understand that many singles right now are yung parang burden din yung pagiging single kasi instead of giving more time to yourself, your immediate family, like your parents, are demanding so much from you, expecting so much from you. Dapat may percentage para magbayad ng bills, ganito, dapat ganito, dapat ganyan. And even in your mature age, your parents still treat you as a child para sa iba, di ba? At some point, parang mabigat din ang pagiging single. But if you have a very supportive parents, family, sometimes it makes being single a very worthwhile situation. What I learned during my single years is first, the most important thing that will really sustain you in the relationship today is self-awareness. Self-awareness is really very important. When you say self-awareness, it is not just about knowing your skills, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses. It's more than that. It's about being honest to yourself, being true to yourself, accepting your past. And introspection really helps a lot in terms of self-acceptance and self-awareness. So there are many ways that one can practically do to at least introspect this ECQ. One way that really proved effective for me is first is learn how to meditate. And we know, Vanessa, in our field of expertise in psychology, mindfulness, which includes meditation, is really a wide practice now that is being recommended by many experts, both psychiatrists and psychologists. And thank God, you don't nowadays you don't have to go to the Buddhist or to any meditation guru. You just need to siguro, but it would be helpful to have mentors. No? But as a start, especially during the ECQ, you may just go to YouTube. You find some guide or meditation guides that will really help you relax, that will really help you be grounded to the present moment. Why meditation? Because research suggested that meditation allows you to put a gap between your mind and yourself. Because for many, yourself is equal to your mind, but no. Your mind is just a tool. It is a tool that when you use it properly, it becomes your greatest asset. But when you don't know how to use it, it becomes your greatest liability. You use your mind as your asset. When you learn how to use it properly, you become conscious, you become mindful, you become objective, you become realistic in your perspective. But when it becomes a liability, there you go. You are being controlled by your mind. You become easily anxious, sometimes being depressed because you're being clouded by the negative thoughts that you have. That's the start of mental disorders. Based on the model that I use in every psychotherapy, it is always a negative mind that creates mental disorders. Whatever form of mental disorders, be it obsessive compulsive anxiety, depression, and the like, it is always traceable to a negative perception.
That's very interesting, Coach Matt. We know that you are a clinical psychologist, right?
Yes.
Coach
Yes.
Matt. So, like the message that I'd like to make clear right now is you've mentioned that any, say, clinical disorder could start by like a negative thought.
Basically, 100%, all of the clients that come to me, they always have a negative perception in them, especially a negative perception about the self. For example, common to people with depression are the perception, I am not good enough, I am unloved, I am unworthy, I do not matter, I am insignificant. So those negative perceptions perhaps were taught to them with from their past experiences, perhaps experience with their parents or their family, or being bullied at school. And they are continually bringing that until the present, and it becomes their reality. So in connection with what you can do in ECQ, first is you can do meditation, because meditation can set a gap between the self and the mind, allowing you to observe whatever you're thinking. So the magic of meditation is it allows you to focus on one thing, and it also allows you to focus on your mind and to observe your mind, what is happening. So pag ikaw ay yung taong controlled by your thoughts, you cannot observe what your thoughts are. But if you practice meditation, it gives you the skill to easily observe your mind. Ganito palang naiisip ko. Kaya pala ganito na-feel ko ngayon kasi ganito ang naiisip ko.
I totally agree, Coach Matt. Just to add a few information on that, when you say meditation, I myself have like tried to practice it because one of the known benefits that was told by our meditation instructor would be emotional regulation. So I think
Yes.
that's what you were saying. You know, being
Yes.
able to detach yourself from your thought is a very powerful act to do. Like
Very, very powerful.
gives you the confidence that my thoughts and me are not the same. I could like
Yes.
control it,
Yes.
make it positive anytime when I decide to.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And you've mentioned about these negative thoughts na I'm not worth it, I'm unloved. These are when I was single, I also had these kinds of thoughts. So I think being able to
I see.
recognize na these are typical negative thoughts that crosses a person's mind would also be very helpful for single professionals, especially those who are still searching for
Mhm.
the one
Okay.
that's meant for them.
Even if many people will be loving you, a lot of people will be loving you, even if your future partner will give you the best that he could just to show love, but if you still have that mentality that I am unloved, it will never be enough. You'll always seek and seek for a lot of things only to find out that that in the first place was already enough, but it is your mind telling you that that is not enough. I still feel unloved. And again, introspection, self-awareness, self-acceptance really helps. Vanessa, that life is not really about what is happening to us. Life is not really about the situation that we have. It's about how we see the situation. It's about how we interpret the situation. So even if what is presented to you is a paradise, but in your mind is still suffering, you will see that paradise as suffering. Mind always corresponds to the kind of lens that you wear.
So possible that I could be famous, I could be rich, I could be
Yes,
loved and still
yes,
feel empty.
yes. And that explains why we know some celebrities, although they have a lot of success and accomplishments already, getting the Grammys, maraming mga awards, may pera, may properties, and that they still committed suicide. They still are depressed. They still are unsatisfied with their life because all the while, amidst all these accomplishments in their mind, it's still saying that this is not enough.
On the flip side, is it possible that even if I don't have a boyfriend, even if I'm just in the journey of searching for the love of my life and improving my career, trying to establish a family, even if I'm just starting, is it possible that I could feel happy and content with my life?
Yes. On the other part of the story, that is a big yes. So that explains why there are still families na walang-wala naman, or a product of a broken family, maraming naranasan sa buhay, and yet they're still happy. And it's really about the mind, how we interpret the situation. The same as with this ECQ, if you really interpret this as something negative, then you will never get the benefit out from it. If you see it in a positive way, then perhaps you can use it for your own benefit. But Vanessa, we cannot really blame some people who are always choosing the negative side. Sometimes you cannot blame them because they're being used to it. That's the thing that I was talking a while ago. It's as if those people are really being controlled by their negative mind. So again, the mind can become our greatest liability as well. We don't know how to control it in such a way that we can choose between the positive and the negative. So the best way for those people who are really controlled by their thoughts, negative thoughts, is to start with introspection. And one simple way is meditation. Another tip that I can give them is to train their mind to become positive. It is
So the
possible.
mind can be trained as well, Coach
Yes,
Matt. Okay.
yes, because the mind is a gullible object. The mind is a gullible object. It feeds on whatever thoughts you think every day. For example, the reason why a person is thinking negative and pessimistic now is that throughout her life, during the past when he was still a kid, every day in his life, he was always thinking of something negative.
Right.
And then, because of that constant feeding of negative information in the past, the brain has become used to the negative things. So meaning to say, because it is gullible, you thought it to be negative all the while. So now it is running in a negative cycle automatically. Diba?
kumbaga, it had this pattern of negative thoughts.
Yeah.
And growing up, you were able to
It
bring
will
that.
continue. Yeah, it will continue. It will continue to be negative. But now you can stop it and change the pattern.
That's good
Okay?
news.
What are the some ways to train your mind to become positive? This is also a simple tip that I teach to my clients. So every morning, just like the question you asked me kanina, no, yung anong pinapasalamatan ko
Yeah,
ngayon.
what are you grateful for?
So that's part of this. That's connected to the second tip. That's the gratitude exercise.
Gratitude exercise.
So pagkagising sa umaga while the brain wave is still in the, I think it's in the alpha wave. Basta during that point your brain is very much, your subconscious is very much receptive to the external environment. So what you're going to do is when you wake up, you get whatever piece of paper. If you have a journal with you, that's better. Get the journal and specifically list down the three things that you're thankful for.
And it's very important to do this the moment you wake up.
Yes, the moment you wake up, if you're religious, if you're spiritual, if you believe in a God, then you can thank God if you want. But if you want to become more, if you want to make it more specific and concrete, you may write in a journal, list down specifically the things that you are thankful for. Make it three things. If you can make it five, that's good, no?
Yeah.
Basta a minimum is three. Then for 2 weeks, dapat walang maulit doon. Dapat walang maulit. But you will continue this exercise. Siguro, it's really good to continue this consistently every day for 60 days. Because if you do a particular thing consistently within 60 days, it becomes a habit.
So I have like
It becomes a habit.
particular questions, Coach Matt. What is the importance of doing it first thing when you wake up, and why like do it for like 2 weeks or 60 days? Like, are there psychological reasons behind these numbers and these times?
By the time you wake up in the morning, the brain wave that is created after we wake up is making our mind very much susceptible to, our subconscious very much susceptible to the external environment. So that's also the power, kasi kapag pagising mo sa umaga tapos negative agad ang iniisip mo, yun, very powerful yun. It becomes installed to your system.
The moment you wake up, they grab their Facebook or like watch negative news. Is it not a good habit?
Yeah, it's not a good habit because your subconscious is very much receptive to the external environment. So the first thing that you feed to your mind early in the morning, that becomes installed to your system, psychological system. So for example, tinignan mo agad yung Instagram mo, ay walang nag-like. Ang interpretation nun sa mind mo, I am not likable.
I know, yeah.
So it becomes installed to your system. Then you already you teach your subconscious that you are unlikable. Diba? And then, nakita mo bad news. O naku, bad news na naman. So, ang interpret ng mind mo, the world is a dangerous place. The world is always negative. So, it becomes installed to your mind. But when you deliberately feed it with something positive, such as things that you're thankful for, then you're installing a positive thing into your psychological system. So, that's what I'm saying. First thing in the morning, when your subconscious is much receptive to whatever suggestions, external suggestions you may have, feed it with something positive by writing three things that you are thankful for every day. Make it very specific. And when I say specific, it's not just enough to say, Lord, thank you very much for my life. It's very broad, no? So what you should say instead is, thank you very much for the comfortable mattress that I used this night to make my sleep very much comfortable. Thank you very much for the delicious corned beef that my wife cooked for me this morning.
Right.
Or some too. So make it very specific, because the more specific it is, the better, the more effective it is. And kanina yung question mo, bakit 60 days? Because according to research, a particular thing, when done consistently within 60 days, it becomes a habit. So you don't need to exert more effort to do it, because it becomes part of your system. Imagine a particular method that feeds in positive information to your psychological system. you do it as a habit. So imagine the pattern that it creates all throughout. You're automatically feeding a positive thing into your psychological system every day, automatically.
Right. That's right.
Make that as your habit.
So what if, Coach Matt, let's put it on a more parang practical, kasi madami sa ating, especially singles, a lot of them are listening right now. So they would think like, Coach Matt, I've done it for like 10 days. I missed the 11th days. Uulit ba ako like from number
Hindi naman.
para ma-complete ko yung 60 days? Like,
parang wag naman natin siyang gawing parang
literal.
very obsessive yung pamamaraan. Ano? Parang kung nakamiss ka, sige, hayaan mo lang. Just do it the soonest day possible.
And not punish ourselves if we miss a day or two.
Oh, never punish yourself.
Yeah, don't punish yourself. Okay.
Just be cool. That's the term, be cool.
Be cool, right? I like that. So you've mentioned like some examples a while ago, Coach Matt. Now, what if like pwede ba to? Like the moment I wake up, for example, I'm one of the singles who are listening. The moment I wake up, pwede ko bang ipagdasal na God, thank you, hindi kami nagkatuluyan ng ex ko. Kung hindi, 10 na sana yung anak ko ngayon. Pwede bang mga ganong grateful for?
Parang
or may halong bitterness yon.
Wag naman kasi parang make it something really 100% positive naman.
Okay.
Pangit naman kasi Lord, maraming salamat at nagkasakit yung ex ko. Ang pangit naman nun. It becomes in the end it is parang it is still feeding something negative into your mind.
So it's very important to select the things that you're
I think that's a good question. Ngayon ko lang naisip din yan, Vanessa. No? Baka may mga tao kasing ganun ang perception ng gratitude, diba?
Right. Because like it's easy to say like, God, thank you for like I have food and water. But you know, like especially if you've asked them to say something to grateful for 60 days, at least 3 grateful things a day, and it has to be unique. So magiging creative yan. At syempre, if you're single, a lot of things that you want to remember are like things that are happening in your dating life as well. So ano pwedeng to be thankful for? Thank you God kasi hindi nag-reply yung crush ko kasi hindi pala siya mabait, ganon, or negative pa din.
May negative stain kasi dapat 100% positive.
Okay, Coach Matt, can you give us what are like 3 things singles could be thankful for every day?
Specifically for singles.
For singles and purely positive. Walang bitterness.
Okay.
Walang, Okay, let's see.
So, one thing that they can be thankful for is that they have all the time in the world to at least spend time for themselves, for their personal development, for their growth. Because Vanessa, when you already have a family and you already have a child of your own, you will always think of their welfare, for their well-being, because parang pangalawa na lang yung well-being mo eh. Parang magiging priority mo palagi is your family. Kaya very important ito, something to be thankful for kasi single ka. You still have a lot of time to focus on yourself.
For yourself. Yeah, that's true.
Because when you marry and when you already have a wife and a kid, you should, parang automatic yun eh, a part of you should be shared to them eh. Dapat sa kanila. Pero for now, parang nasa sayo lahat yun. So that's you have all the time in the world to spend for your personal development.
That's
Pangalawa is, ano ba? Ano pa bang iba?
For sure, Coach Matt, madami, no? Siguro,
marami yun, no?
Madami yun. Wala lang tayo masyadong maisip right now because you've mentioned, Coach Matt, you're already a married person. So, medyo...
Yeah, tagal na yun. Pero I think married or not married, equally they have many things to be thankful
for. Many things to be thankful for. Yeah. So, you've mentioned like one of the things singles could be thankful for. Siguro I could add also, Coach Matt, ng isa.
Okay, sige.
Wala talagang bitterness. All right, siguro. One of the many things that singles could be thankful for, on top of you saying having the time for personal development, is actually it could also be like being single. It could also be a way for them to like pursue their career. Because
Yes,
Matt, did
correct.
you know that single life constitute only like 1/3 of your life?
Yeah.
You're just single for most of the people. You will just become single for 1/3 of your life. Ibig sabihin, if you miss to enjoy that part, if you miss to do whatever that makes you happy, or you miss to stabilize your career, and you miss that, and you become a married person, like you've mentioned, especially for men,
Mm,
it's such a big responsibility already, and it's difficult
yeah.
to say, wait lang, married na ako, pero I have to prioritize myself. I mean, that's not anymore gonna work, right?
Yeah.
So
But
yeah.
anyway, this is what I also discovered, Vanessa, that by the time that I married, that the time that meron na ako anak, parang that's the time that I became more productive in my career.
Oh wow. Well, that's
Hmm.
another perspective from a married
But because if you really have a, good relationship, a well-established relationship, it will reinforce you to, parang it will skyrocket your career, because you will become inspired each day, you'll be happy each day na pag alis mo, parang okay yung pamilya ko, pagdating ko, yes, they're really okay. So parang it gives you the daily inspiration to skyrocket your career. So
that means you are also in a good relationship, because if you are in a bad relationship,
yes.
you're not gonna feel that growth, Coach
Yes,
Matt,
yes, yes.
right?
Because a relationship is just like your mind. It can become an asset. It can also become a liability.
That's true. And even though, Coach Matt, you've said that when you've had your daughter, your lovely wife, lalo kang mas naging motivated. For sure, nung single ka, and I was there at some point. We were classmates in our
Kasal.
psychology classes. No, I've seen you. You've tried to establish your career even before they come.
Yes,
So
yes,
nandun na
yes.
yung foundation.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's also very important, that
Yeah,
although you're right, Coach Matt. Now once you're married, for sure, parang if you're in a right relationship, you'll be more motivated, especially when you have a
yeah.
child. But it's very, very
So,
important to lay the groundwork before the marriage comes.
yeah. So in connection with that, Vanessa, you say you're laying the groundwork. That's what I'm saying is you always spend more time to yourself today, because again, whatever values that you can apply to establish a good relationship whenever you're married already, you will learn it when you are still single, and you
That's
have all the time in the world to spend for your personal development. Because I don't know if you know this quote, but I forgot the author. Ang sinasabi dito is, far too many people are looking for the right person instead of becoming the right person themselves.
Oh wow.
So meaning to say, it's not really about finding the right person. It's about making yourself the right person. And then the right person for you will come. The right person will be attracted to you when you become the right person as well.
That's
Parang,
true.
let the universe do the hustle and the bustle of giving you the perfect mate. No? But of course, you also do your part, di ba?
You have
You
to
also do your part.
definitely, Coach Matt. And I believe with what you've said, that's why it's very important in our events, also in Singles Events Manila. We definitely advise singles that if you want to meet successful people, if you want to meet with mature and stable in career, you have to be one yourself first.
Yes.
So there's also a lot of study that
Yes.
have observed couples in successful relationship, they're not just kumbaga one empty glass and one half full
Yes.
glass. So most of them, they possess what they want in a partner first before they actually found the
Mm.
partner that they like.
I think many people really are has this illusion that when they're in love, love is always about taking. Eh. Love is always about taking. Ba't di ka nag-text? Bakit hindi mo ako pinansin?
Oh,
Bakit hindi mo ako binigyan ng atensyon? Bakit lagi na lang trabaho? Bakit wala? Bakit wala? Parang they always have this illusion that love is always about taking, when in fact love is about production and giving. Diba? You produce the love in yourself first, and then you offer it to the person. Diba? So it's not. It may be a give and take process, but in the process, you are not so desperate to ask for something.
that's true.
Love is a give and take process, but at your part, in your personal part, what you need to focus on is how to produce that love in you and give that and share that to others,
Right. And
especially to your wife or partner.
exactly. And also, one of the like many things also that we tell our clients in singles event is that if you are looking for like this particular person,
Yeah.
it's very important that you yourself, you look at yourself as an asset and
Yeah.
not a liability, because no matter how much a person loves you, if you are a liability in the long run, it's not going to be
Yes.
good for the relationship. So it
Yes.
has to be like totoo yan, Coach Matt, give and take. And then at the same time, kung baga, all of us has like negative aspects, all of us has negative character, but
Yeah.
the positive
Definitely.
ones should still be higher than the
Yeah.
negative part in order to maintain a good
Mm.
relationship.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
That's
really
really true. That's
wonderful.
really true. Yeah.
Right. And it's really wonderful to hear from like a clinical psychologist. And then if we like observe like the things that we know about dating, these are not just like dating tips that you got out of quotes. These has basis that, you
Yeah.
know, some of them has been taken from studies. Some of them has been taken from quotations from famous scientists,
Yeah.
psychologist. So it's nice to be reinforced by, you know, these
Mm.
things to be reinforced by you.
Mm.
So do
Right.
you have any other tips besides meditation, besides
Attitude
listening things that they're
exercise.
should exercise?
Um, I think most of the things that I learned today at my early. I don't know if this is still a young age, no? 27. I'm still
Still
27.
very young, Coach Matt. We are still very
I hope so. But what really brought me to places, what really allowed me to form important practical wisdom that I applied not just in the relationship but also in my personal life, is also taken from books, good books. It's good to be entertained sometimes by reading fictional books, but non-fiction self-help books are very helpful. But choose also the author. No, let me recommend to you one good
yeah.
book that really changed my life. I don't know if it's still available in the bookstore. It's an old book. I think it's written in 1980s.
Wow.
That's a book by Anthony de Mello. The title is Awareness.
Awareness by Anthony de Mello.
Yeah.
Why do you
Uh,
like this book, Coach?
what I like about the book is it brutally destroys the personal illusions that we have that might not be helpful in both in our personal life and in our relationships.
Okay.
So, for example, yung sinasabi mo kanina, yung both half empty glass trying to fill in one another, kasi sinasabi ni Anthony de Mello dun it's not really love. It's even I think he used a very harsh word for that. Parang it's about two selfish people being together because they're trying to take
Wow.
from one another. Yeah.
Right, right.
When in fact, before you go into the relationship, you should already be a full glass.
Full class, yeah.
So that what you're going to do is not just full glass, you're an overflowing glass. Because the only thing that you need to do is to share that overflowing graces or overflowing blessings in yourself to the other person.
That's
Para hindi ka nahingi ng hingi, kuha ng kuha. Ng...
so, Coach Matt, we often hear this. You have to be a glass that's overflowing, that's filled and not empty. But like in a
Yeah.
very practical term, how can you tell if a person has a full glass and not an empty glass?
When that person is okay siya, either kung he will still be fulfilled, he or she will still be fulfilled, he or she will still feel fine in a relationship or not in a relationship, he will still feel okay. He will say that he is an overflowing glass because he is not finding love or he's not finding attention or affection or attention from other person because he is already full with it. And
Right.
we can achieve that by again introspection, self-awareness, personal development.
That's true. Although, Coach Matt, it's actually we all know that it's human nature to actually find and seek love. No, that's
Yes, yes,
built
yes.
in our system. But I think also like what you're trying to say is it's okay to find love, seek love, as long as you are sure that you yourself has that in you. You're not looking for love
Yes.
because you don't have it, but you're
Yes.
looking for love to complement it, like with what you
Yeah.
have. Is
Yeah.
that what you're trying to say?
Yes, yes. Because love should always be selfless. It is
So,
always selfless. Yeah.
right. Totoo talaga pala yun, no? We often like hear love should be selfless. But then even from coming from a person who is
Yeah.
married for 2 years already, talagang you're saying that love
Sure.
is
Kasi
selfless.
kapag maging selfish ka, naku, maraming problema eh. Pati ikaw, mamumblema ka eh. Basta always remember, any problem that you throw into your relationship, that will always come back to you.
Good to know, Coach Matt. Thank you. Thank you for that. We're gonna take note of that definitely. So
Mm.
you were saying a while ago, besides all these tips that you've mentioned, the meditation, the second one was being grateful for.
Gratitude exercise.
Did you add another one?
Yeah, the read good books.
Yeah, reading good books. So besides that one that you've mentioned, is there any other books that you recommend to our listeners?
Uh, when it comes to relationship, I think what really helped me was I forgot the author, but the title is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
From
You know
Greek,
that book?
yes.
So
From
that,
Greek,
all,
yeah.
that also helped me about the differences between a man and a woman in
And what
terms
did
of,
you learn from that book, Coach Matt? Very briefly.
uh, for me, there is really a basic difference between a man's perspective and a woman's perspective, because a man's perspective is always outward. It's always about career. It's always about cars, house, properties, or how to survive. And the women's perspective is always about how to nurture, how to care, how to establish relationships.
Mhm.
Yeah? I don't know, kapag ang lalaki magkasama, ang lagi nilang pinag-uusapan na mga something outside something external eh. But kapag ang mga babae nagsasama, it's always something about relationship, it's all about feelings, di ba? Parang inward palagi. Sa lalaki, outward, sa babae naman, inward. Yun yung pinaka natutunan ko kasi parang that explains a lot, no? And that can also be explained by evolution because throughout the years, ang mga lalaki yung laging lumalabas para mag-hunt, paghanap ng food, lumalaban.
Correct.
Ang mga babae yung mga nag-aalaga sa mga bata, di ba?
Yes,
Yung
and
mga nasa household.
that's true. And even if Coach Matt, we already have women who are out there joining the workforce and stuff.
Yeah.
Evolutionary speaking, men are supposed to hunt and women are supposed to like take care of the household and so I agree with that book. That book is really good if you want to know about how the men brain is different compared to like how the brain of women works.
Yeah, men are from Mars, women are from
Women are
Venus.
from Venus. And to add,
Yeah, kasi kaya daw sabi yan, if you enter a relationship, it's like merging Mars with Venus. Kung titignan natin, technically, it's almost impossible eh. But
Yeah.
why is it happening? Being in a good relationship, sabi nila it's a miracle, but I think it's really a hard work that has been done in the past. A hard work that you did in yourself first.
That's true. And to add with that, Coach Matt, if I may also recommend one of the books that also helped me understand dating and relationship as a matchmaker here in the US and in the Philippines. And this book goes to, sorry guys, but this book is being recommended to all our female singles who are listening right now. That would be the book by Steve Harvey, Act Like a Lady but Think Like a Man. So yeah, so that book also has taught me to the strength of being a woman, that you don't have to compete with men. There are a lot of gentlemen out there, but the problem with some of the strong independent women is a sobrang strong and independent nila, they do not give chances anymore to men to be a gentleman. Parang sometimes if they offer to like pull the chair for you, take it. I mean, that's fine. If they offer to take the bill, if you want to fight with them sa cashier, that's fine. But also recognize the intention behind that. If you think the person is paying for the bill because he wants to get something bad from you, then that's not good. But if you look at the character of a person, if he's the type of man who takes pride in paying and providing for or their soon-to-be wife, then allow them to be a gentleman. So
Mm.
there's another book also. I'm just gonna resound the message that you've said, Coach Matthew, that this
Mm.
time during the home quarantine, let's make the most out of the time to do like personal
Yeah.
development. Reading
Very
books is
important.
actually wonderful. And
Yeah.
Coach Matt, sana wag naman. Pero, di ba, after this home quarantine, who would have thought this won't happen again for like, I hope so, for a really long time. So we really have to make the most out of the time that we're at
Yes.
home
Yes.
and, not out and about on our usual schedule.
Yeah.
So, Coach Matt, do you have any final message to all our single professionals out there who is also striving? For some people, it's very very easy to be happy, but then for some people whom you've mentioned, that their brain is actually wired to thinking negatively.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Every day looking at the news, seeing that the Philippines has the corona,
Yeah. Mm.
like not just in Miss Universe, but right now we are number one in Southeast Asia who has the highest, number of cases in ASEAN, not in Southeast
Yeah.
Asia. I mean, like, how can they fight this negative news and negative auras that's happening all around them?
Well, I don't know if you are with me, but I always believe in the saying, everything is okay in the end. If it is not okay, then it is not the end.
Oh
So meaning
wow.
to say, I always believe that there is always a rainbow after the storm. Because if you look at history, every problem, every crisis, meron at merong positive resolution. May World War One, World War Two, and yet people suffer during that time, pero meron pa din eh. We still continue to exist eh. So meaning to say, there is always something positive in every negative. That's why dito sa COVID-19, do your part to at least avoid having one. So wag nang lalabas-labas, 'di ba?
True.
Kasi matakot ka kapag lagi kang lumalabas. Pero kapag nasa bahay ka lang naman, and when you go to the groceries, you do the extra precautions like wearing a jacket, ano ba, balutin mo yung katawan mo, then
And
pagdating mo sa
cleaning
bahay,
your grocery. That's
before
true.
ka pumasok, uparin mo lahat yun, di ba?
Yeah.
So, yung mga extra precautions, then you don't need to worry. But I think in a general note, everything will become okay in the end.
Every,
Our government is doing its best. We are doing our best. So the best thing that we can do now, since ECQ is a one in a lifetime opportunity, then to focus on yourself. Then I'm not saying that this is totally positive because maraming business ang apektuhan. Even my business is also affected. But I don't look at it negatively because when I look at it negatively, mas pinapalala lang ang sitwasyon eh. Instead of making the situation far better, it becomes worse. So what you're going to do is just take this once in a lifetime opportunity. Biruin nyo yan, no? Almost 2 months na pahinga, di ba?
yeah.
So marami ka na magagawa nun. Instead of just watching Netflix and checking your Facebook updates and the like, why not do meaningful things that can really add value to your life, such as the ones I recommended. So focus on personal development. You know, Vanessa, we are really living in a information paradise. Every information that you want to get access to, you can in just one click, in just one
So
type
lucky.
in a keyboard because Google mo lang lahat, andun na lahat. Kung gusto mo nga matuto ng pagluluto, ay i-search mo lang sa YouTube, 'di ba? So if you want to know about relationship, basahin mo lang. So we are living in an information age, so make the most out of it. But the most important thing is not really about taking in information, but processing that information and applying it to your own life. As much as possible, use this opportunity to look back into yourself. Say for example, kung nakatira ka with your family now, with your parents, siguro use this opportunity to fix broken relationships.
That could be
Yung
one.
mga,
Right.
kasi that sometimes that really affects our concentration and focus. So why not use this opportunity to may tinatawag nga akong family retreat, di ba? You gather with your family, then siguro just answer some guide questions, mga ganun. So, maraming pwedeng magawa ngayon eh. It's just a matter of being creative. Huwag kayong magpadala palagi sa mga negative news. So kapag ang pwede nyo magawa siguro is mute those posts na will give you negative signals.
Yeah. And would you agree, Coach Matt, that one of the ways to be happy is also to reach out to people, connect. Social connection makes us happy.
Yes. Ang dami nating paraan ngayon. Itong Zoom, Messenger, and I know Vanessa has a lot of ways to help you look for your right partner.
That's true also. And not just right partner, we also connect singles if they want to network, they just want to get to know each other while like we have time, and when there is less distraction, since we are now focused, as you have mentioned, we can focus on mending our relationship. We could also focus on creating one. But like, I think the main message here is like to do things that would improve yourself and improve your relationship.
Yes. Improve yourself, and you improve every areas in your life, including your relationship.
That's wonderful. Having said that, Coach Matthew, thank you very much for joining us. I personally have learned so much from you. I hope that this won't be the last time that you'd be joining us, because for sure, a lot of singles would have like questions for you, Coach Matt.
Sure. They just need to invite me, and just one call away.
Right. And to everyone who's watching, you could reach out to Coach Matt through his YouTube, his Instagram. He's also on Facebook. Just search for Coach Matt Doming. Is that correct, Coach
Yes,
Matt?
Coach Matt Doming. That's kasi iba nami-misspell yung apelyido ko. That's Doming. So
Okay.
Coach Matt Doming.
Wonderful. And you're also running MPsych services, which offers mental health services.
Yeah, what we do in MPsych services is we partner with companies to boost the mental health of the employees. So I offer free workplace mental health assessment. So if you're an HR, or if you know someone who is interested in this service, they can avail the free workplace mental health service. Testing. It aims to measure the common mental health concerns in a company. So that's totally free. And we offer trainings, mental health trainings, which include stress management, emotional management, self-awareness. We also have the psychological reprogramming, helping people to detect the negative thoughts and try to install positive thoughts in them. And we also do consultancy, like psychotherapy, counseling with the employees.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And that's very good that there's a company such as MPsych, because I also believe that, if your employees has a healthy mental health, their productivity also is soaring, and all of the boss wants that.
Good mental health means good productivity, means good workplace culture, means good profit for the company.
That's true. That's true. All right. Thank you so much again, Coach Matt. And we'll see you
very much.
again here in the Singles Podcast, hosted by yours truly, resident matchmaker and researcher, Vanessa A. See you guys again next time.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
On the next episode of the Singles Podcast.
So since I saw Marian, we fell in love, and I saw all my boxes are checked, non-negotiables. Sabi ko, there's no time need to be wasted.